Hey everyone, Fantasy Captains here, week 7, giving you your game by game lineups, who to start, who not to start. We got me and Rob here today. Um, First game, we got Buffalo at Jacksonville in London. Early game, a lot of injuries, right? I think Watson's out and McCoy's playing, right? Carlos Williams is hurt still. Anyone you like? Allen Robinson playing too? He's questionable too.
Yeah, Robinson and Hearns would probably play. Yeldon is the one that he's probable, but I don't know if I trust him. Groin injury. If you have someone else, I'd probably roll with him only because that kind of injury could be 2 plays and he could come back out. And it's a tough one. Tough way to start your week at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. On the Buffalo side, I would definitely start McCoy. Probably Clay as well.
Oh, Clay, absolutely. Clay's gonna have a big game with no Watkins. EJ Manuel at quarterback. It's gonna be dump it down to Clay kind of day, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't know if I would start EJ Manuel. Maybe. I am desperate for quarterback this week, so I'm going with the Pittsburgh quarterback Jones. But if I can't get him,
no, it's tough with this week for me. Tony Romo's hurt, and Dalton is my other quarterback, and I had Tyrod Taylor, so I had to pick someone off of waivers this week. I did look at Manuel, but Ryan Fitzpatrick was on the waiver wire, so I picked him up. But I mean, in a tough spot, you may have to play Manuel. Jaguars defense isn't great. It's a fast track. He just has no one to throw it to. Is the problem. That's Clay.
You like him over the Pittsburgh quarterback?
No, I like Landry Jones this week. Actually, that he's got a good matchup. Casey's defense is bad against the pass, so I actually think Landry Jones is not a bad spot start either, and a cheap DFS play.
Yep, exactly. All right, what's the next game?
So next is your Browns up against the Rams. So you're the Barnage man, so you kick it off.
Listen, Barnage is got a ton of touchdowns. He's a red zone threat. No one thought he was going to do anything against Denver last week. He got 2 touchdowns. I think until he proves anyone wrong, you got to start Barnage every week, and that's what I've been doing. I've been playing 2 tight ends because I got Greg Olsen too, right? And I just been riding the hot hand. So I think you got to start Barnage. And that's probably about it on the Browns. You got Benjamin stuff too, but
Yeah, Barnage is becoming matchup proof, and I agree. You ride him until further notice. Benjamin has been surprising. He's been fairly consistent in a PPR league. I thought he was going to be more of a boom and bust, Deshaun Jackson kind of guy, but he's definitely done a better job. Besides that, maybe Duke Johnson in a PPR, but it's hard to trust that 3-headed monster with Turbin, Crowell, and Johnson now.
Yeah, and he's a little banged up too. So, if you're desperate, I'd play Duke. But if you got other options, I'd go there. On St. Louis side, girly. Everyone's hyping up Gurley. I'm playing him in both the few daily teams I'm doing. Other than Gurley, I don't know. Foles maybe.
Yeah, he's got no. I mean, I'm Gurley. I'm starting in both cash and Torney on daily. His price is just too good this week, and it's shaping up for me a big game. Like you said, there's not much else there as far as fantasy value on that team. So you roll with Gurley, and that's it.
Austin maybe. Tavon Austin, no.
Yeah, I mean he seems to be starting to be their number 1 receiver, but there's probably better options out there.
Yep.
All right, we'll tee it up next is the Vikings versus shit Stafford and the Lions. Go.
Hey, listen, Riddick's a good play in a PPR format. I like Abdullah's sort of turned out to be a bust this year. He had 1 good run, and everyone was hyped up on Abdullah. You got to start the Detroit receivers, Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate, those guys. I'd sit Stafford because he could get benched mid-game like he did last year. On Detroit side, who do you like? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think you kind of covered Detroit. If Ebron is back, you got to watch him. I know he was I think he might be game time. He may be back this week. He's the only other one you didn't mention on that team. As far as the Vikings, I love my boy Stephon Diggs. Let's see if he can do it 3 weeks in a row. I mean, Bridgewater just doesn't throw enough, but he's got that Antonio Brown possession PPR type of receiver. They really don't throw to anybody else. Kyle Rudolph is touchdown dependent, and obviously Adrian Peterson, you're still starting, but he's been a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, I'm starting Diggs into fantasy just for the dollar value in a flex spot. So I definitely like Diggs, and AP will have a good game, I think, too. But other than that, it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much value on that team for a team that people thought with that offense would be much better. All right, let's move over to the Texans and the Dolphins, the new resurgent Dolphins. What do you like there?
You know who I like? He had a good game last week, Lamar Miller. I'm hoping he has another good game this week. Mainly because I drafted him. No, but I think Lamar Miller will have a solid game. They're sticking to the run. It's opening up the passing, like Landry. And I think Tannehill could be a decent play if you're desperate at that corner spot too. I know you have Tannehill in one of your leagues. I think Tannehill will be okay. I don't know about like Matthews and or Jordan Cameron if he's a good play too, but I don't know about like a Matthews on the Miami side.
I mean, I like Landry this week better than Matthews. Matthews has been good in the PPR. He's been fairly solid. I mean, that Texans defense is pretty bad. On paper, they're amazing. In real life, they just happen to suck this year, and they're letting up a lot of fantasy points. So, I agree. I think Lamar Miller, they're starting to run the ball now with the new coach, and I like Lamar Miller. Tannehill's a decent play if you need help. And like I said, I think Landry has a good game this week as well.
Yeah, and Jordan Cameron too, I'd play, but that's about it. On Houston side, you got to start Arian Foster because he's catching the ball, he's running the ball, he's doing a little of everything. And DeAndre Hopkins, you definitely got to start those two.
Guy's on a record pace for targets.
Well, he's the only receiver, right? I think that's it for Houston, right?
Hoyer is another quarterback I looked at. He's been hot. I mean, it's all DeAndre Hopkins dependent, but he's put up decent stats. Again, this is a week with a lot of buys and a lot of good quarterbacks on bye. Hoyer's another guy to look at for a spot start this week's not awful.
Yeah, but I just get nervous with that quarterback. He got Malik got benched mid-game. There's like stupid stuff like that going on with the quarterback. That's the only thing that holds me from even picking up Hoyer personally.
Makes sense. All right, here's one where I think there's going to be some points scored. Saints Colts.
Oh yeah. This should be a high-scoring game. Both defenses are not that great. I'll start with the Colts. You got to start Frank Gore this week because the Saints can't stop the run. T.Y. Hilton and Moncrief I like. Andre Johnson, the Torrey Smith, right? He's going to he had one good game this year, and then he hasn't done anything since. So, Anyone I'm missing? What about those tight ends for the Colts?
I mean, it's tough because they haven't been great. Honestly, I think there's a huge bounce back game for Luck. I mean, you're starting if you have him anyway, but I think he puts up some big points this week. That's why I do, like you said, Moncrief and Hilton. Love those guys this week. That's pretty much it.
Last week, though, Luck.
Yeah, I think they are embarrassed last week. Saints are awful on the road. I just see this as a huge bounce back game for him. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is not his year, but if he can't put it up this week, then I'd start getting worried about him. Not Peyton Manning worried.
He put at least 25 fantasy points up last week against New England anyway.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And he missed a ton
I'm talking fantasy, kid. Real life. Well, I'm not a Colts fan.
Who would be? And on the Saints side, I mean, you're starting Drew Brees. I think he has a good game this week. I can't trust Cooks. I'm sorry. If you have him, you might have to start him, but I would look elsewhere. Mark Ingram's always a solid start.
If you have Cooks, I'd trade him for Yeldon now.
I did.
I know.
Bet your ass I did. Look, I was high on him like everybody else this year. He's just not producing. It's Snead. I think it's a big Snead game again this week. I think Snead and Watson is a nice play. That's where Brees is looking. He trusts certain guys, and that's where he goes. Yeah,
the only guy that you didn't mention is a must start every week is Ingram.
I said Ingram must start.
Oh, you did? Okay. Cool. Yeah, so I would definitely start Ingram too. But, yeah, I agree with you on those guys. I agree with Snead and Watson. I liked in the beginning of the year. He had one big game. I did play Watson in the daily. So because it's good value right
Yeah,
now.
I think he's gonna be highly owned this week in tournaments, just because of his big week. A lot of people like to chase last week, but no, he's like you said, good value. All right, let's go to Steelers Chiefs. So I'll talk about your new quarterback, Landry Jones.
Yeah, for sure. You got to start. He's got so many weapons, right? And Antonio Brown had a somewhat okay game with Landry Jones rather than with Mike Vick. Not a great game, but at least 15 points. So I like Landry Jones. I like Antonio Brown. You got to start Bell every week. Um, Everyone's hot on Martavius Bryant. What do you think there in that situation?
Yeah, I wish Brown got me 15 points last week, but I do think with Jones working with him this week, he's going to get in the ball more than Vick. I mean, Landry Jones is a more pocket passer. Vick was the problem because he kept fucking scrambling like Vick does. I think Martavis Bryant, like he's going to be like last year. He's going to be boom or bust. I mean, you have to start him, and Daly too. His price is great in Daly, and I feel like after last week, you have to start him. But who knows? I mean, last year he was one of those guys that was, he could have 3 catches and get you 30 fantasy points, or he could have 3 catches and get you 5. So, but you got to get him out there this week, and obviously Bell's a must start as well.
Yeah.
You like anybody on the Chiefs?
On the Chiefs,
I don't.
You got to go Macklin, maybe.
He's concussion protocol. He's probably not going to play this week.
Oh, Macklin's not even playing, so yeah, you got to try start Kelsey. I don't know about those running backs. They didn't do anything last week, so
no. West was a pretty big bust on the waiver ad. I think you got to let him see what he could do before you're confident put him in your lineup. The only other guy was it Robinson, the receiver that came in for Macklin, did okay, but I mean you can't trust Alex Smith in that offense.
No way. Yeah, I would stay away somewhat.
All right, big game in the NFL. Jets Patriots.
Jets Patriots. This is actually a good game, man.
It's a good game, and a lot of good fantasy players in this game as well.
I agree. So let's start with the Jets. I'd say you got to start Ivory. I wouldn't start Fitzpatrick, but I know you're in the jam.
I am.
Yeah, I would start him because there's a lot of good quarterbacks on bye this week. So you got to, if you need help, I start Fitzpatrick. Also, the receivers, Brandon Marshall and Decker, you got to start on the Jet side. But that's it for the Jets, right? Ivory.
You mentioned Ivory. Yeah, he's a must start. He's one of the best fantasy running backs right now.
Yeah, he's top 3 fantasy running back right now. You got to start him every week.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it on the Jets. Like what I'd say about Fitzpatrick, he's a low ceiling. He's not gonna go crazy, but he's got a high floor. He's a safer play. In a game where they should be fairly high scoring.
I could see 250 and 2 touchdowns for Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, that's all I ask in a bye week. And then the Patriots side, I think this is a Deion Lewis game again now. Last week was definitely a blunt game. I think this week is a Deion Lewis game. It's a tough Jets defense, more of a dink and dunk game. Edelman, I would obviously you're starting him, but temper your expectations. They'd probably put Revis on him. I think Gronk has a big game per usual, and obviously starting Brady. But besides that, anybody else on the Patriots you like?
It depends on how deep you are. Not really. Not really. I was going to say Amendola, but he's going to be, just because Edelman's going to be covered, right? But it's a risky play. But maybe Amendola.
Yeah, I mean, in a 16-team league, it's definitely, like you said, risky play. So, all right, we'll move on then to the Buccaneers versus the Redskins.
Oh, next. No.
Now, this fantasy two shit teams. I couldn't agree more, and you could pay me to watch the game, but yes,
well, I would go with Doug Martin. I would definitely play Doug Martin. Mm-hmm. I'd definitely play. See, Mike Evans is hitter. He hasn't been doing much.
I know. I feel like you have to play him, but we're starting to play him because of his name. We're at this point.
Exactly. You're playing him because you drafted him so high. What about Vince Jackson?
He's been the better of the two. I just think that Redskins defense is pretty good, and they keep scores fairly tight. I think Doug Martin's probably the best play on the team. But, I mean, like I said, if I have Mike Evans, I'm rolling him out there. It's just I feel like you got to give him one more week.
Yeah, I agree. Redskins side, what do you like? Who do you like?
Well, depending on what their backfield situation is, you could go out for Morris if he's the only back in the backfield. I know your boy Thompson had a bad week last week. Garcon, good PPR guy. I wouldn't touch Kirk Cousins with a fucking 10-foot pole. We gotta watch out for Reed, because if Reed is back this week, Reed is definitely startable.
What about your rookie, Washington Crowder?
Yeah, I mean he's okay. I mean it's a good matchup for him. Yeah. But that's all again depends on Reed's back. I think he's getting a lot of targets because of Reed's out.
That's true. So watch out for that. Yeah, I think that's spot on. Yeah, Thompson's probably hurt. I think Matt Jones is still hurt too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With Matt Jones out, Morris is not a bad play because that Buccaneers defense is not very good.
Yep, I agree.
So, all right, let's move on to the Falcons and the Titans.
Falcons and Titans. So Mariota's out. So, if you need a quarterback, maybe Mettenberg would be a good play.
I don't know. You like Mettenberg, little boy?
I got him on my bench just in case. I don't know who else from the Titans. My son just came to the room, so he's
came in. He wants you to start Kendall Wright. I heard him go, Kendall Wright.
Yeah, Kendall Wright, exactly. I don't know. Cobb's not back this week, right? We're looking at another
it's week 9 or 10 for Cobb.
And yeah, so do you start the same?
I wouldn't. That backfield sucks. That's why I'm stashing Cobb, because when he does come back, he's going to walk right in as the starter. Besides that, Kendall Wright, it's tough because Mettenberger didn't get in the ball last year when he was there at the helm. So that's pretty much it. That team's fairly weak. I'll move over to the Falcons since I see you're moving around there. So
I'm good. I'm back.
Matt Ryan, again, he's a fairly steady play. Again, he's not putting up huge numbers because Freeman is just carrying the ball so much, actually takes away. But you start Ryan, you start Julio. Freeman's a must start. And Hankerson is this week. He's probable. He's probably going to play, but he hasn't been great since he got injured. And Roddy White bitching about the ball. So,
yeah, must starts are definitely Freeman, Ryan, and Julio. And if you're not desperation, if you're looking at a flex spot, I'd probably play Hank or maybe Roddy. But I agree with you.
So, all right, let's move over to the Raiders and the Chargers.
So I like some players on the Raiders this week. Amari Cooper. Murray, the running back.
Latavius Murray.
Yeah, Latavius Murray. What about Derek Carr?
Again, he's a situational start. I mean, the Chargers' defense has been better than people thought. So, it's one that's it's tough. I would go somewhere else. These are other better quarterbacks that we've already talked about out there in other teams. So, yeah, I mean, really it's Murray and Cooper right now, the only two fantasy value I see on the Raiders side. So, and then on the Chargers side of the ball, your boy Rivers is having a great year. I know you're starting him every week. Keenan Allen, you got to watch.
I'm starting him over Cam Newton every week too, who's also having an awesome year.
I know. I mean, Rivers is putting up the points, especially fantasy wise.
I got to ride the hot hand, sort of like Barnage, right? I'm just riding the hot hand right now until.
Yep. Stevie Johnson may be back this week, but I wouldn't touch him this week. Keenan Allen, it looks like he's going to play. He's a must start. In the backfield, it's Woodhead's the only guy I'm starting this week. Gordon keeps fumbling. He keeps getting benched. They're working on Brandon Oliver now.
Getting hurt.
Yeah. So it's one of those where I'm starting Woodhead in the backfield and Allen and the wide receiver spots. Oh, and of course Gates. Gates is back and he looks good. And honestly, if you're hurting, Ladarius Green too is still getting the ball with Stevie Johnson out.
Yeah, he is still getting the ball. And then what about Malcolm Floyd? He's getting some touches too.
He is. I mean, like I said, he's a flex play in a deeper league.
Yeah, but Rivers is not going to throw for 500 every week. I hope he does, but.
So let's move over to my New York Giants in a huge game against the Dallas Cowboys. So I'll let you go first.
Team shows up is who you start.
Well, Honestly, I mean, again, you got to look, and I just got an alert on my phone too about Beckham. I got to read it, but hopefully Beckham and Randall are better off their injuries, their hamstring injuries. Just watch until game time, but they're both very startable in this game.
Yeah.
In the backfield, the only one, and again, depends on game flow, is Vereen, and that's the problem with the Giants' backfield. Vereen's either involved or he's not, depending on game flow. So really, it's those two and Eli. The only two on the Giants I'm really starting this week. So
What about Donnell?
who? Donnell? He really has. I mean, he had the one big touchdown catch for Giants purposes, but fantasy purposes, he's been fairly quiet. Eli's not going to the tight end as much now that there's Vereen.
Yeah, that's true. Dallas side, what a dumpster fire. I don't know who to. I don't know. I don't know who to play in that backfield. Right? Is it Michael? Is it McFadden? Is it who's going to play? Right? We don't know yet. You still got to ride that out.
Yeah. If you want to go risky, especially in a tournament in daily, and you throw Michael in there, everything that they're saying is he's getting first team reps. He's going to get a chance. They're going to unleash him. But, Randall's still a decent player, and it's tough. And Giants actually do have a good run defense. So, if anything, I wish they still had Dunbar because this is a Dunbar-type game. So, maybe it's McFadden they're checking down to. It could be a Cole Beasley game. But it's tough to trust anybody. With Mallett now, you don't know who he's going to like. Maybe it's someone on the third team that he's been working with, and all of a sudden, that guy gets the ball this week. It's tough to start anybody on Dallas this week.
It's Castle, not Mallett, but yeah.
Castle, my bad.
Yeah, but they're saying Beasley might be a good play because he's somewhat like Edelman, and that's when he had all that news BS. Even Terrence Williams, he's the only receiver there, so.
Yeah, that's what makes it so tough. I mean, there's some fantasy value there. It's kind of pot luck, though, until we see how they run the offense now, until who does it. It's a tough call. I mean, I'm avoiding most Cowboys if I can.
Agreed.
So, all right, let's head to the Sunday night game, which is the Philadelphia Eagles against the undefeated Carolina Panthers.
Ooh, well, I do love Cam. I'm just riding the hot hand with Rivers now, but you definitely got to start Cam Newton. I'm not starting any Carolina running backs, really, personally. You got to start Greg Olsen every week. He's a must start. Ted Ginn's been having unfortunately, he's been somewhat solid or consistent, should I say. Anyone else on Carolina you sort of looking at?
That's the problem. It's amazing that Cam's having such a good season without any wide receivers. I mean, he's got Olsen, who's a must start, like you said, and Cam. And Stewart had a decent game last week, so he is startable depending on where you're at in your running back situation. That's it. I don't like. I know you said Ginn, and yeah, I mean, he wants to get a flyer, but it's tough. I don't know how Cam is putting up the numbers he's putting up without any wide receivers.
Yeah, that's why they're talking MVP for him, because he's doing the most with nothing, right?
It really is, and they're undefeated. And their defense is good. But when you go to the Eagles, you got to ride the hot hand into DeMarco Murray now. He's at 200-yard games in a row. You got to start starting him until he stops and they stop giving him the ball. Hopefully they don't give it to him out of the shotgun. He's a downhill runner, and they give it to him that way, and he had a great second half against the Giants last week. Jordan Matthews, I still trust him. Ertz is starting to play better. Besides that, I don't know. Anybody else you like in the Eagles? Bradford, I mean, obviously.
I'm playing Bradford in one league, but I'm not comfortable playing him. But I am playing him. Like you said, Ertz. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I was going to say Huff, but that's only super deep leagues.
Yeah, I took a flyer on him last week, especially in daily, but it didn't pay off for me. But he's a sneaky, like I said, cheap daily play that with this matchup, that Panthers defense is tough, so I try to avoid that. He had a better matchup against the Giants.
Good, true, exactly.
All right, Monday night, last game of the week, the worst defense in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens against Carson Palmer is going to throw for 500 yards, and the Cardinals.
You hope, because you got Carson Palmer. I am playing Carson Palmer and daily all day long. The running game there, it's a three-headed monster too. Who do you play, right? So it's a messy running game situation, but you got to start Fitz. You got to start Brown. You got to start Carson Palmer. Anyone else you starting in Arizona?
No, it's my super stack in daily. I'm starting Palmer, Brown, and Fitz. Michael Floyd is another one who has a good matchup now because this defense stinks so bad that you might want to look at. But I'm stacking those three in a super stack in daily. And like you said, the backfield, three-headed monster. It's amazing that Chris Johnson is putting up the numbers he is. I mean, so yeah, it just muddies the backfield. I'm just going all pass offense against that bad Ravens defense.
Yeah, I agree. On the Ravens side, I'm starting Forsett. He's had a good few games, and he's catching the ball now out of the backfield finally as of last week. And I think that's that he's going to get some catching production this game too because they're going to be down. Steve Smith Sr. I know Peterson's going to be on him, but he's been so solid when he plays. You got to play him, and he's their only option. Maybe an Aiken in a deep league if you're desperate. But that's about it for me on the Baltimore side.
Yeah, I mean, Flacco is another quarterback I looked at just because I feel like they're going to play from behind. That Arizona defense is very good, and I feel like the Ravens are going to be behind pretty quick. So I think they'll be throwing it. So Smith, Aiken, I think you kind of covered it. Maybe Crockett.
Yeah, maybe Crockett if you're desperate on tight end. But, yeah, that's it.
Cool.
So, yeah, good luck this week, folks. You can ask us Twitter questions. We'll be happy to answer them, or like us on Facebook and ask questions on Facebook. We'll answer them on the air. And good luck this week.
Yeah, check out the website, fantasycaptains.com. It's getting there.
Thanks, guys.